a lot has already been said. A lot has been heard. May you continue to be with us, Holy Spirit. In an area, Father God, where there is bondage spiritually, and that, Father God, poverty has been thrown in our homes, upon our lives. Father, tonight, I pray for losing in the name of Jesus. May we be set free spiritually, mentally, and physically to the glory and to the praise of your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name, amen, and amen. Wow. To be honest with you, I don't even know where to start. And brother, our friend, has said quite a lot. But please bear with me, because I think there's something. I mean, wherever the Holy Spirit will lead for me to stop, I will stop. But very conscious of time. But I want you to really just bear with me, because I think our brother has been at the very top. And I like it, because we need that balance. And we want to drop it way down. And a lot of the questions that I was hearing is just about bringing it very down, so that we really are able to hold on to it. We really are able to bring it into our lives practically. My name is Mansfield Asante, Director of Authentic Consult, and I don't know if we are able to bring it on the screen, but if not, that will be fine also. I'll start with a bit of introduction and definitions for tonight. I know not everybody knows me here, but from a very poor family in a very, very rural area in Ghana, a country that they call a poor country. And that's where I have come from. I didn't have electricity, so throughout my high school, well, up to some part of my high school, primary school, basic school, all of that, I was in this village. There was no electricity, and I think that's even where I need to put it there. Because I mean, I remember, after tins, when people would drink their milk, they would throw it in the bin, we'd go look for the tin, come back, get a cover for it, punch a hole, get a cloth, twist it that way, and then put it in a kerosene, and that would be what we'll be using to learn. And that's what we did. We call it bobo in Ghana. Walking 3 kilometers to school, and then 3 kilometers back from school. So every day I was doing 6 kilometers just to go to school and to come back. But one thing I used to do back in the days is nighttime, because after school you go to farm and you go and look for snails, you go and look for cola, you go and look for all of these things, mushrooms and all that. You come back to sell so that you get something for school the following day. But every night I remember I used to get a bucket of water, put it in the outside for the dew to go in, and it gets cold. And at night time I would wake up with my bobo, and I put my 2 feet in it, and just to make sure I don't sleep, and I was steady. And I did that and did that and did that. And I've been abused, I've been enslaved as what you call child labor now. I've suffered all of that. Been with people and done all the donkey jobs. And when it's time for dinner, they will just throw like that, and then you have to go and get it. And now pan all the fufu. Sold ice water, sold, do we know ice water? Yes, we do know ice water. I've sold banana and peanuts, I've sold oranges, and I've pushed the truck. I've done everything that you can ever think of. Been really, really poor. Someone told my mother, how was your son able to go to university? And that was the person, not disrespecting my mom, but the reality was, how is it that your son was able to go to university? And if I bring it to where I am now, all I say is that thanks to be unto God Almighty, our Father. But I know that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. We've said quite a lot about that. That in all of those things, that in those times that I was going through everything, do you know that I never considered myself poor? I never ever thought I was poor. And not because we had anything, because we didn't have anything, that's the truth. But the thing is, I never, when people will see rich people, they'll go and be bound before them. I never felt, I had this confidence in me, that whatever I was seeing in that village, I was able to go beyond that. And up to date, to be honest with you, if you come to me, I think I'll be better than Bill Gates. And the dream, I can't stop it, I can't help it. But I think, I will never see a person and say, I want to become like you, and that's enough. Because I believe I want to become me. I want to become me. And I think we've already learned quite a lot. And so let's come to now. And now a chartered accountant, an investor, business owner, business coach, financial educator, a mentor, a husband, a father, and above all, a minister of the gospel. I've got 2 companies that I've invested in, one in the UK, one abroad, and I own my own business. I've got my card here. If you're interested, I'll give you a card after the message. I'm a professional chartered accountant. I do accounts for companies as well, business analyst, and all that. I'm also a maths teacher. If you are here and you want a maths teacher for your children, please speak to me and I'll come and help you. Jack of all trades. Thank you, man. What I'm trying to say is that you have to become all that you can ever become, so that wherever you go, you can meet people of that are like-minded. You can engage them at their level. When I meet teachers, I engage them. I was a soldier as well, so when I meet a soldier, I'm able to engage them. And for this message, it's going to be like, today is going to be like, the first day I got to the training camp, and first 2 days we were just going around and looking at the military, the compound and all that, the camp. And that's what today is going to be about. Just going to be scratching a few surfaces and all that. And then I believe that this church is really blessed because you have a young pastor who really is interested in personal development and financial empowerment of its members. And so I believe I'll be coming back here to this church so we can continue this message. It is free, but sometimes in the future it's not going to be free, so enjoy it while it lasts. I'm not going to be doing it for free every time. It all started with a dream. I've shared this dream before, that one Saturday night, usually I have those dreams and encounter Saturday nights going into Sunday because I don't sleep. I study, pray, and then when I go to bed, I see things. And then I saw something that looked like that image. It was in Bradford here, and this dream was about a year ago. And in that dream, I saw this. There's a lot of people in the city center area, and all of a sudden there was disturbance. But then what I saw was that people were grouping, and they grouped, and there was this line, massive line that perpetually, we look at the line, and it was never ending. On one side was a group of people, on the other side was another group of people. One side was the white people and Asians, and the other was black and people of my kindred. And when I saw in that dream, really worried me. Because on this side, because I was stood here, assume this is the line, and I was stood here, the white nations, and these guys were living in prosperity. I mean, prosperity is evident, isn't it? If you see someone who's prosperous, you know they are prosperous. We've just been told that the man that spoke before me has a car worth about 65,000. I mean, it's evident, And when I looked this side, there was what the center the Bible describes, the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Children are crying, and there's so much, outcrying, poverty, and people are screaming and crying. And I'm like, Daddy, what's happening? And I saw soldiers on this line, and they were guarding, preventing people from crossing to go over to the other place, which was prosperous. Thought about it, woke up, thought about it, and prayed about it. I never understood it until I went to church. And the same very night, my pastor was also having different visions. 3 times it came to him that he traveled from Africa to UK. But every time the plane landed, it took him to a place that they called London Island. Very, very poor. The conditions were like Africa, unfortunately. And then he could see London over the shores, over the... But it was an island, so the sea, and then over the sea he could see London, the lights and everything glorious. And he asked them, what is this place called? He said, London Island. What are you doing here? And they said that we took visa to come to the UK, but instead of landing in London, we actually have landed here. And this place is called London Island, and we are not allowed to go to that place. And the visa that we need to cross over to that side is actually, you need to get that visa from that place. So you can't go there to get a visa to go there. So you are trapped here. 3 times he woke up, prayed, and went back, and it was the same dream. 3 different places, all islands. And then he prayed, and for understanding, the Lord explained it to him that it is what is called community spirits. That many people have traveled from their home countries to come to the UK, and unfortunately, they are still trapped by things in their communities, and so they are not partaking of the prosperity of this land. And so I've called this message, Prosperity is Predictable. For me, since then, I realized that there was a Great Commission, and I have not rested. And everywhere I go, I am passionate about something. When I see churches that are struggling to pay their bills, when I see churches falling out because they can't pay their rent, when I see churches wanting to grow, but they don't have the 100,000, 500,000 pounds to buy the property, and they are struggling, I get angry. I really get angry. And I'm like, why? What is happening in the household of faith? Why do we not have the millions? Why do we not have the billions? What after all, what is it that we need to know and need to have and need to be doing? Whatever it costs, we want to do it. So that we can also control the airwaves. We can also control what comes on our TVs, what comes on the internet. Many people are rich and they decide. We are seeing a lot of nudity on the internet and on TVs. Why? Because the rich people are controlling it. You and I need to be rich and need to be wealthy so we can control things that come on our screens. And so, if there's anybody here who doesn't want to be rich, please put up your hand. Oh, that hand only went to that place, isn't it? Wonderful. Are we all happy and do we all want to be rich?
I'm already rich.
Thank you. Do we want to have more?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, right. So a few things I want us to start. Where do we start? Money, wealth, riches, cash flow, capital gains, asset, liability. I wanted it to be a very discussion, but I'm quite conscious of the time now. But before we move on, I want us, do we really understand what an asset is and what a liability is? What is an asset? Let's talk about them two only because of time. What is an asset? Yeah, go on, please.
An asset is like your personal,
Property.
Property. Someone said property.
Property.
Estates.
Yeah.
An asset is something you can turn into money at any time. Something that you can turn and transform into money or resources for you at any time.
At any time, you can turn it into money or resources. Any more definitions? Property, something that is yours, something you can turn into money. Do you want to say more, please? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Something that appreciates over time as an asset. What about liability? The opposite of asset. Liability is liability. Thank you. I like that definition. Liability is a liability. Thank you. Sister, God bless you. Liability is a liability. Okay, right. Does anyone want to say? Yes, my wife, please. It doesn't bring anything into your pocket, but rather it does what? It costs you. It does what? Sorry. It still costs you liability. Thank you. I know you don't want to. You want to always go back to it. Some things you only have to use the word to explain it. I understand that. Thank you, my dear sister. And so, in accounting or in finance, when we say an asset, we say an asset is a resource that someone owns or controls. Listen, it's a resource you control, and out of that resource that you control, you are expecting future economic benefits to flow to you. So you have something, and that thing, because you have or control it, you don't have to be an owner of it, you don't have to be the owner of that thing, you are expecting future economic benefits to come into you. And simply put, anything that you possess that puts money into your pocket at the end of every month is an asset. So I want us to start thinking. If you have anything in the house that every month ending or every quarter, whatever period you've set for yourself, it puts money into your pocket, that is an asset. Liability, on the other side, is an obligation. And the settlement of that obligation means that money is going to go out of your pocket. There's going to be an economic outflow from your pocket. So anything that you have got, that end of the month you have to service. End of the month you have to pay money in order to keep it or to maintain it. It is a liability. Are we comfortable with that definition? Okay, if we are comfortable with that, then the following, are they assets or liabilities? If you have a house, is it a liability or an asset? Somebody just talk.
Asset.
A house is an asset. Yeah. Are we sure a house is an asset? So if you have a property, you live in that property, it's an asset. Residential property is an asset.
Both assets.
Thank you. Both assets and a liability. Yes. We are live now, both asset and liability. Pastor, I'm sorry, but we are becoming live, so we can't close now, please. Both asset and liability. Why is it, or why can a house be a liability and be an asset? What two circumstances?
An asset because it's your property, a liability because you have to spend for it.
An asset because it's your property. Is every property, or the way we call property, an asset? Remember, we said assets put money into your pocket every month ending.
And the house can also put money in your pocket, in the sense, maybe you have some rent. You rent some.
Good, thank you. So another term is coming in, rent. Okay, I can see discussions here, please. Yeah.
Until you finish paying for it.
Until you finish paying for it. Then it becomes an asset. Okay. So once you're paying for it, and how are you going to be paying for it? Because I want us to get the definition right. And what we are doing already, we are engaging our minds. We understand that transformation can only take place. Where does it take place from? From here. Once we get here, then we will look at things differently. Because tonight, the truth is that you and I have to begin to look at things the way the very wealthy people look at them. If you live in a house, that house can never be called an asset. Because every month, you have to pay money to service the asset. Even if you have paid off the mortgage, you still have to pay the bills. So it will not put money into your pocket. But if it is a rental property, where every month you take the money, you pay the mortgage and pay all the expenses with the property, and you still have a net figure, £100 or £200 put in your pocket, then it is what? An asset. Because you control the asset, and as a result of controlling the asset, money is coming into your pocket. Remember, you don't need to own it, because maybe the property is a mortgage. And so, legally, if you don't pay the mortgage, the banks can come and take over the property, but you only control it. And the control of it is what is giving the right to be able to take that rent, pay the mortgage, pay bills, pay the mortgage and what the estate agents, and if you have £100, £200 in your pocket, then you put it there. That then becomes an asset. So please, I'm very strong about this. Never ever call the house that you live in an asset. Why? Because you are forever going to live in the house. You're not a nomad. Those people who go out, we're living in tents. No, you're going to live in a house. So in your life, at least one of your properties is got to be exactly classified that way. And then with that, you are not going to be asking, well, then I need what? I need more assets. Where can I get an asset? What about car? If you have a car? Liability. Please don't ever, because we can't go into detail today, please do not, and I'm advising, do not be tempted to take a car on finance. And I say this with all passion. I took one on finance. I was paying £190 every month. I held it for 3 years. And the only reason I took it because I got 51% discount. And I was going to Germany when I was in the army. In the army back in the days. And then when I sold it off, I actually made money on it because of the price I paid for it. It was heavily discounted. But please, if you are in that position where you are now coming to start to build things, never take a car on finance. I don't know if anybody was born into money. You know, if your father or mother was a millionaire and they left buildings and properties in the estate, and it was billions and all that. A lot of us here, we are now going to start to build them. And it is so easily possible. I'm telling you, and Pastor, I want to come back to this church because I love this church. It is predictable. If I come and spend a day, 2 days with you and look at the things that you do, I can say, in 10 years' time, if you have the discipline to do them, you will become prosperous. It is that. And that's why this man was very passionate. He knew what he was talking about. Because if you spend whatever minutes on the phone talking and just for socializing, please, think about it again. A car can become an asset if, for instance, there is a van and you're using it for deliveries, and at the end of the month, Maybe you are paying the car finance is £100 and it is giving you net amount of say 150. You pay the £100, you have £50 in your pocket. It is an asset. So I want everybody to go back home, start thinking about things that you have. Those that are not assets and they are costing money. Is it a necessity? Do I need it? If I don't need it, discard it. Let it go. I have a friend recently sold his luxury car because he wants to do his business. It takes that discipline. Very painful to do, but you have to do if you want to be worthy. Family. That's a liability. You don't want to say liability, but families, you know, families are. If you are getting money from them, if they are putting money in your pocket, then they are assets. If they are taking money from you, I call some liabilities necessary liabilities. There is a responsibility, you know. So my old mom, I'm the pension, and I have to give her money. And so,
is it anything that gives you money in the pocket an asset to you?
Yes.
Anything that gives you money?
Yeah.
You call it asset. Anything
that you control or own, and from which you get money, or any other economic benefit. It doesn't have to be money. It has to be economic benefit.
Must it be something that gives you money that we call asset?
Yes.
You can have property that you call an asset without you getting money from it.
So it depends on the remoteness of the economic benefit. Sometimes you keep it for when you keep it for long term. What we didn't talk about it because of time. When you keep it for capital gains, and so you are not keeping it for the monthly income. Thank you. Then it is a property. But for me, if I'm looking at my asset now, I will not count it. But there's a future, maybe I'm going to sell it in 10 years. But what this exercise is helping us to do is to look at our monthly bill. Which ones are bringing in money, which ones are taking out money. And I think we need to do that. I believe already we have been blessed. Is every loan a liability or an asset? Probably I'll finish on this because lottery ticket, boy or girlfriend, which of them would you say they are asset? Those that we haven't talked about yet.
Education.
Education, is it?
An asset.
It's an asset.
Yeah.
So if you go to school every month, the school will give you money.
You acquire knowledge, and with the knowledge.
It's an asset in this country, but in Nigeria it's a liability.
Even in this country, it's a liability. But certain liabilities are necessary. I need to stress that. Yeah, so the economic benefit can be quite remote. They can be quite far in the future, but you have to do it. So for me, I would call it a liability. Yeah, but maybe I have to upgrade myself anyway. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Liability, thank you. Yeah, what? If your boyfriend is giving you money, then he becomes an asset. You pray for long life for him. You pray for long life, yeah. And I pray that you convert it to become marriage, quickly. Loan. Is the loan a liability? Honey? It can be an asset. Thank you, yes?
It depends on how you manage it.
Debt, yes?
I think it's a liability
Good.
because it depends on what you want to use the loan for.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you take a loan and spend it on the business and it doesn't work fine.
Good. So, and it's a liability, big time liability. Someone is saying it's an asset. I want to say this finally because of time, and it's been really, really brief because I've done only 1% of it. This is just all part of the introduction. A loan, and hopefully you go home with this, not every debt is a bad debt. And I want to say this, do we know that in the country now we don't live on cash, it's all about, we live on a credit system now. The time of gold is gone. The time of money is gone. It's now currency, some papers that we print. And then when they are printed, now people don't even they don't want it in their pockets. So now we live on credit. And he said it right, even Bill Gates owes. If you take a mortgage from a bank and you go and buy to let, that mortgage or that money is a debt, is loan. But if the buy-to-let property Say for instance, every month you have to pay a mortgage of £400. And then from this property, you are getting £700. You take that £700, you pay the mortgage of £400, you pay the estate agents, any other insurances, any other things that you have to pay, you pay and you have £200 in your pocket. That loan becomes an asset. Because the control of that loan is giving you money. I want us to think about this, and I want us to end here because of time. Please. Today was going to be about practical stuff, and I will come back because
we should continue. We should continue.
My
okay, they say we should continue.
10 minutes, 10 more minutes, and I have to make sure the 10 minutes bless. You know, it actually bless your life.
10 minutes, sir.
10 minutes. Thank you. Let's have a look. Yes. 22. We are finishing. 22. So please, this mentality. I own 2 properties. One I bought brand new. One not too far ago, and it's in Bradford here. Both 3 bedrooms. One fully detached, and one is on mortgage. One I pay cash for the property and all that. But then, to be honest with you, if I go to the bank and I get mortgage of, say for instance, interest of say 2% or 1.something%, I will take it for that property. Because I would take the cash out of that property, which I used to pay, and use that cash to do another business. I took a loan recently, and that loan, I sent it to another business abroad. And the interest I'm getting on it is far paying this interest here. You've got to live smart. Let me say this. You've got to be smart. The Holy Spirit is here, please, and I want you to listen to this. You've got to live smart. You can never be poor, but everything is choices. One thing that we are not very good at as Africans is that we want to go the same way. Everybody's on the same cycle, and we are following. Buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. I buy this, I sell it, I buy it and sell. And everybody's on that one. It takes boldness and courage to come out of that vicious cycle and look at things differently. And until you do that, I say that the old adage is true. If you continue doing the same thing repeatedly and you are expecting a different result, what do they call it? Insanity, madness. So we don't want to be doing same things and expecting different results. It is okay to be rich. Money is the root of all evil. That is not what the Bible tells us. There are beliefs that we need to take. If we don't have them, some of them, they are strong in our minds. If we don't actually do a permanent damage to them, they are going to be there and they are going to be holding our lives in slavery. Mental slavery is very, very dangerous. Some people even start business at the age of 75. My brother was very right. Nothing should be able to restrict you from starting a business. Trust me, if God came here and gave 100, let's say £1 million to every one of us, tell me what you are going to be doing with the £1 million. Business, what is the business you're going to be doing?
I have a cake business already, so I'm just going to expand it.
How are you going to expand it?
Get a shop, get people to work for me, and
Pay them.
Have you done any cash flow?
cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow forecast, any market research, anything that you want to be doing more.
I've done the market.
You've done the market research, so you know if you get £5,000, say for instance I put £10,000 in your business, are you able to guarantee me, do you have a cash flow or forecast, something that I can say that if I put £10,000 in your business, we'll make business?
In a way, yes.
I want to see you. No, money, what I'm trying to say, money is not a problem. Money, truly, and we can never say this enough. And I was very, 5 minutes.
Please see him after.
Yes.
He said he wants to see you.
I want
Don't
to
take
say
it lightly.
No, I'm serious. If you have a cake business, and if I put £5,000, you can work out, you can do the math. And I have something to look at, because remember, I want to see your past accounts and see how you've done. And if you're able to convince me, I can put £5,000 in the business. And, do you know know how many people are out there looking for businesses to invest in? There are plenty. But we are, locked up thinking money is the problem. Money is not the problem. The problem is that we have to begin to plan things. We have to already begin and act like we are rich. We have to begin to read the right materials. We have to be thinking and looking out for the various opportunities. Remember that God said to Abraham, come out of where you are known, where everything is common and is you know things. And then I will take you somewhere that you don't know. And for me, that's the place I like. Where you don't know. Because I say that in the world of the known, your harvest is already happened before. Someone has already harvested your harvest. You're not going to get anything new. But in the world of the unknown, you are just setting yourself up for something wonderful, something great. And that is what everybody, look at those who call the names. Whether it's the owner of the Alibaba, whether it is Bill Gates, whether it is Mark Zuckerberg, whether it is the guys we know in the UK here, even whether it is this man here who was speaking. It's not about the background. Fine, the background has done what it can do. But remember, you have to begin to write a new history. And the new history begins with what you are doing today. Trust me, how many people are here? But this message that we are, thing that we are talking about today, very, very expensive. But not many people are here. Number 2, I guarantee you, men who are here will not even do much about it. When the word was sown, some fell on the wayside, some fell in on funny ground, some fell on the stone, yes, and some fell in the good soil. The good soil is only the ground. The Lord says that people who receive the word, they receive the joy, they acted upon it, and then they what? Multiplied. Heaven wants you to multiply. If you are here and you think heaven is okay for you to be poor, that is not true. Heaven wants you to multiply. Jesus said, take this unprofitable servant and put him in the outer court where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. He wants you to prosper. He wants me to prosper. But there are things that we can learn. Honestly, anybody can become wealthy. That's the first thing I want to say. Anybody can become wealthy. Why? Because if I begin to do things that people are doing, this man, I took his card. I don't know how many people went and followed you and said, I want your card. I took his card, and I'm going to be calling him because I want a like-minded person. I want to be talking to him. And when I speak to him 15 minutes, that 15 minutes with him will be far worth more than 100 hours with a different person talking about non-scoring. So, chaff. It's a hard message. I believe so. But if we really want to change it, then we need to make sure that we take the pill. The pill is hard, the message is hard, but we need to understand that. There are many, many Bible quotations, the scriptures about prosperity. We won't go into that one. Let me say something to answer your questions, my dear sister. If you have something, and you, in your own mind, if you think something is a limitation, you need a partner. What does the Bible say? In the book of, I think it's Ecclesiastes, chapter, it talks about 2 are better than 1. 4:9. Look at, we have the Bible scholars here. Pastor, do they have PhD in theology? Yeah, thank you. God bless you, sir. You see, when something you think is a limitation, you need someone to come and do this for you. So whatever you have that they don't have, whatever they have that you don't have, you come together, and that is a mighty force. Sometimes you can go solo, you can go on your own, but sometimes you need a partner to invest with. You need a team. You need to have your own core values. Those core values will help you to select them, and when they come on board, nobody will be able to stop you. Pastor, and I want to say this finally, before I finish. Remember God said to these guys in the book of Genesis chapter 11, he said, now they are one mind, and they have one language. Nothing that they want to do shall be taken away from them. Nothing shall be impossible before them. When pastors prophesy, they see things far in advance. Don't go for quick money. Because I have done that before. I had a dream and the Lord showed me so many things. And I was so shallow in my understanding. And I went in the morning, it was Friday, I said, I'm going to win the Euro Million. And I put £5 on my Euro Million. And I'm thinking I was going to get the money. I was deceived. Because sometimes when pastors prophesy, don't get them wrong. When they see things and they say it, it doesn't mean that they are false. But maybe the time hasn't come yet. Yeah. And let us go on this path. Narrow path, but those that will come on it, trust me, everybody will tell you. If you begin, those that you obey, you become them. If you obey God, you become like God. If you obey Satan, you become like Satan. If you read about these prosperous people and what they do, my dear sister was with one millionaire, and their lifestyles is just different. And I'm like, I want this. The books that I read, the books that you read, it has to change. If it is 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day on Nigerian Ghanaian films, it has to change. It's painful, but it has to change if you are to make a difference in your time. God bless you, everyone, and we will continue. It's only that first day on the military camp that you're looking around and you want to be a soldier, but that day you're on the camp and they take you around and you don't know, you've not even had your uniform yet. Yeah, so we'll get the uniform, we'll start the training, we'll start running. We want partners, we want to cross, we want to be in control, we want to have dominion, we want to help our churches, we want to command, so that when we talk, people will listen, whatever color, whatever type. Amen.